Hello, I'm Rupert Turton, and welcome to Business Spotlight, where we talk to local business owners about their journeys. Today, I'm joined by Joe Faraday from Sheer Edge. Sheer Edge is an award-winning hospitality and events agency who, interestingly, celebrate 6 years of trading this year. So, Joe, hello.
Hi. Great to be on here, Rupert. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's actually 7 years of trading, which is
really?
great. Yes, an
Even better.
extra year.
Congratulations.
Happy days. Yeah,
So, my
it's
first
it's
statement on this interview is wrong.
it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I'm just grateful to still be trading. After
Yeah,
the last few years. So 7 years is it's like a medal, isn't it?
yeah,
Been through
absolutely.
it.
And I guess in your trade as well, it has been literally closed down during COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything, literally, when the announcements happened, I looked at the co-owner, who's my husband, and
Yeah,
just said, "Oh my goodness me, the business has just gone dark.
yeah,
I can't. Well, we cannot trade. What on earth were we to do?" So
yeah.
it was tricky, but we did navigate our way through it. So thankfully, yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about that in a moment. I think the first thing to do though, Joe, is just explain what Share Edge do and the sort of events that you're involved in.
Yeah, so Sheer Edge, it's an unusual name, so it's a little bit different, which is the way that we like to be thought of. We are, in essence, your events concierge, come anything events or hospitality related is what Sheer Edge can support our clients to
Yeah.
do. It could be booking two places at the Grand Prix or the racing or a concert, or it could be taking a whole team or a range of clients out on a hospitality day,
Yeah.
right through to organising a leadership retreat or a big annual conference and exhibition. The range is so vast, and
Yeah.
what our clients tend to come to us for is because they're time poor. They still want to make the choices. They still want to decide what venue to host their event at. They just don't
Yeah.
have the time to go through all of the sift through all of the responses. They don't have enough hours in the day. So that's where we come in and
Yeah.
give people the choices, and they're still in they still have that opportunity to decide what they do, but we just make their lives a lot easier.
Yeah. So is there a typical event that you're involved with?
There's loads. So we have a private suite at British Grand Prix at
Oh yeah.
Silverstone. We have a range of clients that return to us to support their venue searches. So
Hmm.
annual conferences for a number of association clients and corporate clients. We have corporate hospitality. We have a number of clients that come to us for their calendar of events. So it
Hmm.
could be, they take people, whether it's internal or external, for every single month. So I'd be here all day listing all of the events that we are involved in dealing with, but that makes, the role and the job and the business so varied, which is why
Yeah.
we enjoy doing it.
Yeah. I suppose if somebody wants to know if it's an event you do, sensible thing to do is to contact you.
Yeah, absolutely. There isn't
Yeah.
really anything we can't support with, to be honest. Yeah.
So also you mentioned at the beginning that the sheer panic at the start of COVID-19. What did you do to weather the storm?
Yeah, so initially, we were chatting earlier, initially, there wasn't really much that we could do. We knew that we'd have to postpone, push back
Yeah.
events that we'd scheduled or venues that we'd booked for our clients. So we made ourselves busy, and we thought it was only the last 6 months, didn't we? So pushing it all back to the autumn and it'll all be
Yeah.
fine. And then the realization hit, actually, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So a lot of events were cancelled, hospitality bookings were refunded. On that side of things, the business did lose, quite considerable amount of money, and a lot of organisations in our situation were the same. I couldn't sit still, although I'd got my little one who was home, and the weather was glorious, wasn't it, in the
Yeah.
first of the lockdown. So we did enjoy that time, but I needed to keep myself busy. So we set up a podcast, and
Yeah.
that ran for two series. So
Yeah.
that kept me busy, kept me having conversations, kept my mind and thought process active. But then we were starting to get approached by our existing clients to say, we know this is going to go on for quite a lengthy period, and we don't want to not reach out and support either our internal teams or our clients. We
Yeah.
need to run events. We need to do it in a virtual sense. Can you help us? So we then we created the new revenue stream that was virtual events, and that became our breadwinner for quite a couple of years, really, while it was all happening. And we helped support our clients to run a whole manner of virtual events, whether it was celebrities hosting, almost like a Britain's Got Talent type show. It could have been virtual wine tasting, lots of fun virtual games, kits going out to people. We did get involved with annual conferences, and we did also have our first international clients. So through COVID, although it was, a hard, tough time, we gained an international client, and we helped them run their event that would normally have been a networking event. They ran it. So yeah, we helped them do that virtually.
Quite a substantial change to the business as well, because I suppose
it was
virtual
massively.
events on that scale weren't something that was particularly common pre-COVID, were they?
No, not at all. And we do actually, one of our clients still is running a virtual conference as well as their in-person conference, because in that time they gained new members, new interests, new countries. So that they're happy with that. They want to continue doing that because that helps them spread the message more. So whilst a lot of people do think virtual events aren't still a thing, they accompany the live in-person events as well. And I think if used correctly, it does work. So yeah.
So sort of hybrid model.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what's been your biggest learning since you became a business owner?
I think for me it's very easy to get sucked into the humdrum and the hubbub of all the activity and the operational side of things. And it has at times been difficult to remove myself and work on the business and think about the business as a separate thing. And I think in the early days I found that quite a challenge. And I think hasn't set me back, but I think it's been a big learning for me that in order to grow, you need to be able to do that, to look objectively at things, what's working, what isn't, and tweak it. Whereas, in the beginning, I was probably a bit pig-headed and thought, oh yeah, if I just keep doing this, and then that'll be fine. And it doesn't always work like that. So
quite a big learning as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the biggest challenges in the events industry at the moment?
I think at the moment, and I don't want to speak out of turn, because I don't want to speak for everybody in the industry. I can only speak as my experience to date as it is. I think that venues will undoubtedly have seen a huge drop out of their staff, because during COVID times, a lot of people had to leave and retrain. And that's the cold, hard truth of it. A lot of people don't realise, how much of an impact it made to a lot of people's lives. And some people did have to retrain, as much as it broke their heart, because they loved the industry. We didn't know how long it was going to go on for. So everybody has to look out for their livelihood. So I would say a lot of the venues had to go through a massive learning curve, because they had to recruit new blood into their venues who had no industry experience whatsoever, and still run those events that they'd promised the clients who were returning for their return events. And so I feel so much admiration for the venues that we work with, because they really carried the can and they did it admirably. And do you know what, actually, a lot of the people that the venues that we work with, the new blood, the new people, actually got massive shout outs from our clients, because they cared and were passionate about doing the right thing and doing the job well. I would say the biggest impact in the industry is the people. Obviously the events having to be pushed back and the loss of income, but I think now, as we're moving forward, a lot of venues have caught up and everything seems to be on an even keel. I say that, with gritted teeth, because we don't really know about what's going to happen with the energy bills and the cost of food and beverage and what that looks like.
Yeah.
That has the potential to be a massive, massive.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about it, to be honest. But yeah, we've got to be realistic about it. I think that could potentially be a really bad situation for a lot of venues and events. But I think, like with COVID, you look at ways around things and you look at what we can control. There's no point sitting here thinking, what if this happens and what if that happens? We just
Yeah.
have to manage what we can and, navigate through it best we can.
Yeah. And actually, with that said, and everything that you're doing to manage through what, let's face it, has been a very difficult time. So what have you learned about yourself?
That I'm resilient and that I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
giving up anytime
Yeah.
soon. I
Yeah.
love what I do way too much. I think the relationships that I've made, um, and secured and grown, not just during the COVID times, but prior to that, are way too valuable to me to give up doing what I
Yeah.
do. I worked at a number of hospitality venues pre setting up Sheer Edge, and whilst I loved working there, I actually really enjoy working for myself or
Yep.
working with my partner.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because I enjoy being able to work in our own ethical way and support our clients in the way that we do. I
Yeah.
think sometimes when I was employed, I found it tricky to do what I needed to do to sustain that client relationship. And sometimes things I was asked to do, especially when I worked in recruitment, I felt was
Yeah.
unethical, and I find that really hard. So at least
Yeah.
I know if I'm calling the shots, I know I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that level. So yeah, I think
So
that's
you're a
what I'd
very
say.
values-driven business then?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. It's important. In my mind, it's important to
Yeah.
to do that.
Mm. No, I agree. I think it is. I think in most businesses, the values a lot of what underpins not only the way the business operates internally, but also the sort of clients they work with and how they work with those
Yeah.
clients as well. I think
And
your
I think go on, sorry.
I was going to say your values. I think are key to driving that, whatever they may be.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's why we get, really high client retention, over the 7 years. And many of the clients that work with us now have worked with me in previous roles. So I'm really
Yeah.
fortunate.
Oh,
But I
good.
think
Yep.
I think that speaks a lot really about, us as a business and me as a person.
Yeah. So what does the future look like for Sheer Edge then? Where are you
Well,
going?
well, growth. Growth is the plan. It was the plan in 2019, but
Yeah.
we'll have to tweak and adjust, as I said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think growth is very much on the radar, and you know, getting the Sheer Edge message out there more and supporting more clients with their events and hospitality. So yeah, definitely the
Yeah.
plan.
So where's the growth coming from? Is that just expanding the client base, doing more events for the clients, bigger clients? Growth could take so many forms in your
Oh,
industry.
it can. Yes, it can. I think definitely client growth. As much as we love and value our existing clients, so we will still be servicing them well. I think then that in turn would be growth of the team.
Yeah.
Existing at the moment, there's 5 of us, so it would be further growth there. So yeah,
So what would you say to anybody thinking of going into business at the moment?
I think you could spend your whole life wondering what if, but
Yeah.
if you dare to dream and dare to do what you think you could do. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work
Yeah.
out, but at
Yeah.
least then you've tried it. So I
Hmm.
think as long as you've got a valuable proposition, as long as you've got your numbers worked out, that's quite
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you understand that it's about a consistency. You're not necessarily going to get your first win straight away. You are going to have to knock on lots of doors. You
Yeah.
are going to have to look at the way that you operate. So if you do get busy, you don't want to get in a situation where you're juggling lots of things and everything's falling to the floor. So you do need to think about the logistics of it all. But I think you can talk yourself out of most things, can't you? I think realistically, it's important. If you've got a good idea and you think it could work, go for it. That's what I say, definitely.
Yeah. And actually, the other message I take out of that as well is don't forget whatever business you're in, you
Yeah.
also have to be the salesman for that business, at least in the early
Yeah,
days.
that's it, absolutely. And
Mm.
there's never going to be anyone as passionate as you
Yeah.
to push your business. There's not,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's as much as you potentially have other sales teams and you know, when you own and run that business and you started it from scratch, it's like having another baby in that respect. It is. You
Yeah.
nurture it, don't you? You nurture
Yeah.
it and feed it, and it grows, and that's it.
Yeah. Should we change tack a second then?
Yeah,
Can I ask, who is the first person that comes to mind when you think about success?
I would say Richard Branson. I always think
Yeah.
Richard Branson.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like Lord Sugar, and I do really love Stephen Bartlett as well. But
Yeah.
Richard Branson for me is the pinnacle of success
Yeah.
and the life that he's led. So yeah, I'd say Richard Branson.
Why uh what do you see in Richard Branson that led to his success?
I think his entrepreneurial is it entrepreneurialism? Is that a
I,
word?
yeah, we'll take that. Yeah.
Don't know. But his spirit and his belief
Yeah.
and what he wanted to achieve, how he
Yeah.
set it out. I think all of those things. And I think the fact that, he wasn't an academic. He was the sort of person that just wanted to go out and do that and create something. And I think for me that's really inspiring, and it's
Yeah.
a great message to send to the younger generation that you don't have to have all the academic qualifications necessarily. Sometimes it helps,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I started work from 18 years old, so I'm not really an academic person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm one of
Okay.
those. Mm.
So Joe, just before we finish, if somebody does want to contact you at
Yeah.
Sheer Edge, what's the best way to do it?
And you can contact me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm all over
Hmm.
LinkedIn. You can drop me an email,
Yep.
or send one via the team. So yeah, I'm happy to provide the information. Do you want me to say my email on here, or would you?
What I'll do, I'll put the details
Yeah,
into the text that goes along with this. So those of you that are
perfect.
watching, if you look in the notes that accompany this recording, you'll see the ways to contact Joe in there.
Fab. That's great.
Marvelous. Joe, thanks for your time today. Been lovely talking to you,
It's been
and a
lovely
couple of really
chatting.
interesting insights in there as well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
No worries. Thank you.